Mr. Carney, are you going to release the 11 parliamentarian names involved in foreign interference, Mr. Carney? Alexa Lavoie reporting live from the nation's capital, Ottawa, where our new Prime Minister Mark Carney held a press conference today at 11 a.m. I attempted to attend and ask questions on behalf of Ribbon News and all Canadians, but once again, access was denied. As many of you are aware, the Parliamentary Press Gallery continues to refuse even temporary accreditation to independent journalists, effectively shutting us out from public government announcement. This exclusion is clearly to limit our access, to limit our impact of asking our hard-hitting questions to our elected officials. The Prime Minister, during one of his election rallies, used a heckler's interruption to justify online censorship, blaming the U.S. for a sea of misogyny, anti-Semitism, hatred, and conspiracy theories, describing it as a pollution that washes over our borders.
We need to do it because...
Come on.
One of the issues we're dealing with, there's many serious issues that we're dealing with respect to crimes of violence, conjugal violence, drugs, fentanyl, others. But one of them is with respect to really just the sea of misogyny, anti-Semitism, hatred, conspiracy theories, this sort of pollution that's online that washes over our virtual borders from the United States.
But does this censorship will be used to censor dissident voices and critics like independent media? Despite being blocked from entering the event, I was able to ask my questions to our new Prime Minister while walking to the venue. In my footage, you will see that other media outlets were allowed to film freely and engage with him. Meanwhile, I was physically blocked and pushed away by his RCMP security officers simply for trying to pose legitimate questions. I asked Mr. Carney if it's ethical to use tax haven even if it's legal, why he remains silent on China's 100% tariff on Canadian canola, a policy that has deeply affected farmers in Western Canada. Will he release the names of the 11 parliamentarians allegedly involved in foreign interference, a story that seems to have disappeared from public discourse? Does it truly support freedom of the press, given the repeated use of police to block independent journalists since he became active in Canadian politics? It's worth noting that during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Mr. Carney publicly condemned the unjust arrest of my colleague David Menzies when he asked questions to Chrystia Freeland, who is now one of the re-elected Liberal MPs. He stated then that it was our duty to ask difficult questions.
It was absolutely the wrong thing.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Look, freedom of the press. I've
We're friends already.
I've been a public figure in Canada. I've been a public figure in the UK. I know you got to answer tough questions, and you guys, you ask tough questions, and that's fair.
Today, however, it seems those principles no longer apply when the questions are directed at him. I also asked about Ontario Premier Doug Ford's comment on criminal bail reform and whether he will be open to the idea in order to crack down on the rising level of criminality.
I made 12 other phone calls to all the premiers. Every single one of them said, we're in, we're in, we're in. It didn't matter what political stripe. And we have all three political colors as premiers. But they all agree on one thing: let's stop the crime. And this falls this falls on the lap of the federal government. They do the criminal code. I have an idea. The federal government, let us do the criminal code.
Now let's watch the full report. Mr. Carney, why have you not spoken about the 100% tariff from China on canola? Why have you not spoken about that yet? Premier David Smith warned of a national united crisis if Alberta concerns are not being addressed. Are you going to take our demand seriously, Mr. Carney? Mr. Carney, do you believe that using tax haven is ethical, Mr. Carney?
Go back on that.
No, I have the right to be here. I'm sorry, but why are you calling police on independent journalists, Mr. Carney? Do you believe on freedom of the press? You remember in Davos, you condemned the arrest of my colleague David Menzies by your colleague Chrystia Freeland, and now you're calling the police to block us access, Mr. Carney.
You're
Can
too
you
close
stop?
now. You're too close now. You need to go that way.
Mr. Carney, are you going to release the 11 parliamentarian names involved in foreign interference, Mr. Carney? So a quick video. I'm right there where Mark Carney is going to give his press conference in a public building for a public announcement. And because I'm not accredited with the parliamentary press gallery, deny me access, so all independent media cannot have access to this public event, since they are not allowing nobody. I see like a lot of RCMP. I'm just going to check over there what's going on, and if I can actually get Mark Carney outside somewhere. But I see that there is a lot of journalists, so I suspect he would arrive over there. So let's see.
To the immediate priorities of my government, beginning with our relationship with the United States. As I've stressed repeatedly, our old relationship, based on steadily increasing integration, is over. The questions now are how our nations will cooperate in the future and where we in Canada will move on. On Tuesday, I had a very constructive call with President Trump, and we agreed to meet next Tuesday in Washington. Our focus will be on both immediate trade pressures and the broader future economic and security relationship between our two sovereign nations. My government will fight to get the best deal for Canada. We will take all the time necessary, but not more, in order to do so. In parallel, we will strengthen our relationships with reliable trading partners and allies. Canada has what the world needs, and we uphold the values the world respects. Canadians in the NHL play for a variety of teams passionately against each other. But when they're in a once-in-a-lifetime series such as the Four Nations or the Olympics, those same Canadians come together to win it all. During elections, Canadians play and cheer for different teams. Now that election is over, and we are in a once-in-a-lifetime crisis. It's time together, it's time to come together to put on our Team Canada sweaters and win big. Now is the time for ambition, to be bold, to meet this crisis with an overwhelming positive force that is a united Canada. It's time to build, and my government is getting to work to build big, bold, and build now.
Mr. Carney, how long have you been living in Canada? Where have you paid your taxes in recent years, Mr. Carney? You mentioned you will put a cap on immigration. Which number are we talking about, Mr. Carney? Premier Smith said you and your Liberal government don't respect the Constitution. How will you unite the country and Western voices as Prime Minister? Can you stop? You can't block me. Mr. Carney, Premier Doug Ford calls on the criminal code be ended the provincial level because of the broken system of the liberal bail reform. Will you be open to the idea, Mr. Carney? Your immigration, which number are we talking about in your cap? Mr. Carney, where did you pay your taxes in recent years, Mr. Carney? Mr. Carney, it's really weird, because in Davos, you actually condemned the arrest of my colleague David Menzies by your colleague Christian Freeland, and you said that it was our duty to ask tough questions, and now you're calling a police on independent press. Why are you doing that? You're not believing on freedom of the press, Mr. Carney? Mr. Carney, dare to comment? Why have you not spoken about the 100% tariff, Mr. Carney? Mr. Carney, the American president say the person who least hated Trump won the Canadian election. Did you fear Monger Canadian for electoral gain? Can you stop? Have the right to be in the public space. Mr. Carney, hey, don't stop pushing me. Do you think it's appropriate that your RCMP private bodyguard are pushing independent journalists, Mr. Carney? Mr. Carney, Premier Smith say you and your liberal government don't respect the Constitution. How will you unite the country and the Western voices as Prime Minister, Mr. Carney? Mr. Carney, Mr. Carney, where have you lived in the past decade? Have you lived in Canada or in the UK? Mr. Carney, you believe it's ethical to use tax haven? Mr. Carney, are you going to do something regarding the bail reform that are releasing criminals into the street, harming Canadians, Mr. Carney? The RCMP tried to limit my access to ask questions in front of the Prime Minister office. Now, giving new security delimitations. I refused to comply since before it was permitted. Never let them take more inches because they will keep imposing more. It was Alexa Lavoie here in Ottawa.
So I respect that you have a job to do, that's fine. We have a security perimeter where these bollards are, okay? People can't loiter within the bollards because we need to keep the motorcade clear. So you're allowed to walk through, but you can't just loiter inside here. You have to be on either end of the bollard. See, this gentleman, I've already asked, he's moved in now that I'm talking to, or see where the post is there.
Okay.
You can be on either side there.
So I always been covering, the door of the Prime Minister office, and my limit always been like this kind of like pole. And now they are saying that now the new perimeter is all the way down to the street. You see like this concrete. They say that is the last one. How do you want me to ask my question from there? This is just ridiculous.
Don't forget to go over the carneyfiles.com. On this website, we will expose the Mark Carney's record since the mainstream media refused to do so. And now that CBC received $150 more millions, I doubt you can count on them. So go over the carneyfiles.com right now. And if you want, you can chip in to encourage our journalism.